You're listening to Bros Let's Talk.
Hey, it's Bros Let's Talk. Pat here with Jimmy, Andy, Anthony joined us again. We're talking episode 4 of A&E's documentary series, Biography, WWE Superstars. Booker T was the subject this episode. But before we get into that, what's up, dudes?
What up?
Hey, failers.
How are we doing? Pat, it's good to see the boycott's officially over, huh?
Okay, so I wanted to address that. I'm glad that you mentioned it because I figured so much, I shouldn't say so much, but a decent part of my wardrobe is Bears colors, even if it's not.
Right.
Well, this is actually, you know what? This is Wet Bandits colors. That's why I got this one.
Bandits hat,
which just
right?
happens to be Bears colors. So I'm cautiously optimistic. Okay. I already owned this, so this isn't new money spent. Okay, I'm not gonna throw away my gear. I still love the team. I'm just frustrated with the hierarchy of things.
We definitely were not having a conversation Wednesday when the schedule came out of where we were going for an away game. That for sure did not happen.
Well, Vegas.
No part of that.
Vegas is Vegas. That's just an excuse to go.
Are they playing? They're playing Vegas?
Yeah,
I'm
in
just
Vegas.
waiting to see. I'm gonna wait and see how the Justin Fields thing unfolds. But if things are,
I will say that it's even money right now that you go to Vegas to see the Bears.
Anthony, they are playing in Vegas over Indigenous Peoples Weekend, so we'll have that Monday off.
Then it's not even money.
I was gonna say it's the odds are definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys,
we're probably going, but for right now, I'm still. This hat just matches this shirt nicely. Okay.
They also play in Seattle the day after Christmas.
Hold on, though. This is
out there.
This is a perfect lead-in to the Wet Bandits softball update.
Crowbars up.
Because we have three actually exciting developments that we're going to go over right now. First being, we won this past week again, our third win in a row.
3 in a row.
So that's most important. We're on a roll. Played great defense, no errors.
No errors.
Yeah.
Andy had 2 Ks.
2 Ks.
three, I think, didn't he?
No, it was 3. Yeah,
Three
another
K.
foul
Oh,
tip.
yes, you're correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a K in this. That's a K in the book.
Yeah. But 2 backwards Ks, correct?
Backwards.
Okay.
Huh?
So that's first update.
Close
Super
up.
important, obviously. Second update. Mike's friend Rachel, that he goes to school with, is a very talented artist.
Very
And
talented.
We have shown her the Wet Bandits logo that we prefer. We won't say where it came from or who actually has ownership to it because, but she's basically going to recreate a Wet Bandits logo for us in our color scheme so we can have custom hats made for our team. Wet Bandits logo on the front, Riley's Fox on the back,
I like it.
blue flex fit. That's pretty exciting update.
That's very exciting.
Very
Third
awesome.
exciting update. This is especially exciting.
This is
Sorry,
big.
shouldn't
Pat,
do
Mike,
that.
and I have been talking
Yeah.
about this for days.
to do this. But people might think I'm racist if I put up a 3 like this. It's just number 3. This is 3. Okay. Third update. This is mainly exciting if you are an Xbox user who plays MLB The Show. So I recently found out that I was exposed to COVID, which I got tested and I'm negative. So that's good. But I have to stay home from work for like 10 days per CDC guidelines. So I have newfound time on my hands. And while my wife thinks that time would have been better served doing yard work and other things around the house, naturally, I decided to recreate my entire softball team in MLB The Show 21, created our uniforms and logos, imported them into the game, and they are now downloadable files for anybody who wants to download the roster and play. Very generous ratings given. 90s,
boy.
90s pretty much across the board. Tone, I will say, me and you both have the I gave us the Pablo Sandoval stature where we're just kind of a little bit stout, but but it is what it is. We have to be accepting of who we are. And if you play Xbox, and you play the show on Xbox and you want to play as Wet Bandits softball, go to the vault, search Wet for the roster. That'll download you the roster. The entire team has been added to the Cubs and replaced all of their players. So when you start a
Naturally.
franchise, you go to the Cubs, you do custom team, and then you import. Here's the thing. You import that roster, but then you have to create your uniform and everything. But I have provided the logos. So you just have to import those logos. Tone, I'm going to send you a picture. The uniforms are.
I'm going to go and do this as soon as we're done.
I'm going to text you a picture. The uniforms I made are basically exact. They look
Pretty
exact.
badass.
They're awesome.
Pretty
So,
badass.
and and then naturally after doing all that, I had to spend the next 2 days playing 15 games with my team. because
Right.
I'm not going to
Naturally.
spend all that time creating it and then not. And sad to report though, Tone, me and you are the only position players through 15 games with no home runs. So life imitates in virtual.
I will.
Lots of balls off the top of the fence.
God, I
Dude,
will.
I literally hit one the other
day.
day and I was so excited. I thought I hit a home run, so I was celebrating. And I did the replay and it just hit
in the actual game. I'm talking about real
You're
life.
talking real life. I'm never gonna hit the fence.
Holy shit balls. I smoked that thing and I'm like, this ball's gotta be gone, right? I did the slow swing. I held it, I looked at it for a little bit, I put the bat down slowly and just right off the wall. Golly.
Longest single of the year so far.
I was a double. I ran it out, dickhead.
You did. You're right.
And that is your Wet Bandit softball.
3-1 Wet Bandits, y'all.
Crowbars up, baby.
Hey, we
crowbars.
play the record-wise best team in the league on Tuesday, but they haven't really played anybody yet. So it'll be a good test for us. See where we stack up.
I go.
Very exciting stuff. We are hitting our stride, and we haven't even gotten a good portion of our players back yet.
We didn't hit real well this past week, but our defense was immaculate. So
Yeah,
Good stuff.
that's always key.
Take
I
that.
feel like that's like kind of a unsung thing about 12-inch softball is you can hit the shit out of the ball and sure you can try and win games 25-20.
right.
If you have good defense and
And pitching.
like
And
yeah,
pitching.
I think you're gonna do really well because it just
Agreed.
avoids the big innings. If teams
Right.
go out there and just hit the shit out of you for
Right.
like
There's nothing you
12
can do
straight
about it.
batters and you can't do anything about it, then you just have to kind of chalk that up and be like, well,
Right.
I think another thing too, and directional hitting is huge. Like Sloaney being able to hit the ball opposite
right.
every single time that he wants to with power, with just dinking it in there, splitting gaps. That's a huge. Like you watch all these old teams that like every player on their team is 40 and
Right.
up. They can hit it wherever they want, whenever they want, how they want it. Like, those are the teams that win.
Right.
Yeah, our
constantly.
lineup has felt more balanced the last couple of weeks, to your point, where it's not just everyone trying to crush home runs. We're hitting a lot of line drives and just finding a lot of open spots.
Hit up the middle. You had a couple really nice hits on Tuesday that like it was like you waited on the ball and it was like that perfect like just swing, boom, I'm gonna knock it opposite. Actually, no, you went. It wasn't a because you're lefty. It wasn't like a full pull, but it was like right.
Yeah, I try and go to right center.
Yeah.
So
and that was-
Jim, I'm always trying to like mess around and figure out my stance, which is like half the battle, just being in your head. But
yeah.
I took like 2 steps up in the box this week, and I felt like I was hitting the sweet spot on the bat. Like I was just letting the ball come too close to the ground when hitting it. I got my arms extended. I just love softball. It's so awesome.
I was only 1 for 4, but I took 3 pitches. And
You also hit a grand slam, didn't you? Or you hit
that was a game before.
Okay.
But the fact that I took 3 pitches, I was very proud of
that's
myself.
huge for you.
Because normally if I bat 5 times, I only see 5 pitches. So
I made the comment to you that you kept making the same mistake. So like
Right.
every time that you get out, it's the same thing, which I guess is a positive because
Right.
once you fix that and you figure it out, like you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So that's my
Good thing
coaching
is-
tip today.
We won again.
Yes.
sure did.
And we'll see how's the weather these next few days. Obviously it's pretty shitty right now.
I think we're okay for
Tuesday
I'm
rain.
looking right now.
40%.
rain.
Well, who knows? Because
See,
I thought
hopefully-
today was supposed to be really nice, but
Right.
it's
I was
trash.
planning on doing all
Wait
that
and
yard
see.
work I pushed off today, and then here comes the rain. So I'm going to be hearing about that later.
Shoot, sorry.
Might as well just
You
play
in
video
trouble.
games while she's at the shower. Gosh, got to hit that home run.
Saying rain on Tuesday.
Great. Well, we'll see. We'll have another Wet Bandits update for you in 2 weeks, though, for reasons
Yes.
explained in the next episode. But we got another great documentary that we want to get to. What a jam, dude. They played this with so much nostalgia.
Oh yeah.
I remember this song, but I didn't remember that it was the Harlem Heat.
Same.
See?
Same.
Like, oh, dude, it's a jam. Added this to the playlist instantly. All right, so we had episode 4 focusing on Booker T. And again, just from a standpoint of interest, when you look at the lineup, just someone I'm not as familiar with. So didn't really have high expectations going, although I shouldn't say that. My expectations have been raised because of the first 3 episodes. So I knew
Agreed.
it was going to be good.
Same.
And it was good. And we kind of talked a little bit pre-prod that they've all been uniquely good, which is what's
Yes.
cool about it, because they've been directed by different people, but at the end of the day, they're all similar kind of stories of, I guess 3 out of 4 were like survival stories in my mind. Like it was kind of wrestling saved them to where they didn't really have anything else. I think Macho Man probably would have had other options. But this is another one, just really sad life story about just losing both of his parents at a really young age and kind of falling through the cracks of the system, got
Big time.
swept into the street life and ended up in jail at a pretty young age, but really kind of turned himself around though. And really was, I think, always a good person at heart, but just kind of did what he had to do to survive. Like if not for him, if not for his situation, I don't think he would have been doing what he was doing. He mentioned that when he was in prison, he got his GED and he liked learning and he liked that aspect of it, but he just didn't really have access to it because of what happened to him. But from a wrestling standpoint, watching this, because I remember Booker T, but we didn't watch WCW as much. And then by the time he crossed over to WWF or WWE at the time, I wasn't watching as much as I was when I was younger. One of the most athletic wrestlers.
Oh my gosh.
out there,
Just a genetic freak to look at.
Yeah.
And just the things that he was doing, the way he would elevate for some of these moves just from the ground, he looks like he's jumping from the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
The way he would get his legs up there. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, why aren't there more black wrestlers? Like these guys are freak athletes. And I'm like, oh, because they actually get to the pros in the real sports that the white guys you can't get to and end up in wrestling or whatever. But it's just, you wish that there were, or at that time at least, and he's had an influence to the point that now there's more, black wrestlers than maybe when we were growing up. But that was what stood out to me the most, was that just he, like you said, just physically looked the part, acted the part, but just a freak athlete out there.
Yeah.
So here's my big, it's funny that you brought up a lot of points that I want to touch on. Booker T before this was, I want to say 4 or 5 on my list of most overrated wrestlers ever. And I've had this conversation again with my neighbor about it. He's up there on my list of overrated. And after this doc, I think to a point he still kind of sort of is on that list, but maybe more of like an honorable mention. And one of the big things that makes me feel that he is overrated was like anytime that I would watch him, I think because he was so big and because he was so fast and because he was just so explosive, that everything that he did looked like like uncoordinated. It like looked kind of like herky jerky. I think because he was just so damn big.
I am 100% with you. Every time I would see him do something, it almost looked like he wasn't athletic, but it was just the opposite.
It was
because,
too much.
Yes, because
he was going too
so
far.
yes, because he was so big and because the other people he was working with weren't as athletic.
100%.
It didn't look like he looks like he could take 2 steps and literally jump out of the ring over the ropes.
Any
so we
single
kind of
time
had
that
to
he
like
did-
yes.
Yeah, when he would do
Yes.
that like spinning
Yes.
move that he would do, it would be
Yes.
as soon as he touched the rope, he would be off.
Yes.
Like in my head, I was like, man, he looks like when he would do the scissor kick and when he would do
yes. I am with
everything was just so uncoordinated looking. And then like you realize that like, oh, it's just because he's that much better.
Right. He's
athletically
so
than
explosive.
every-
He's
yeah,
so big. He's almost operating in too confined of a space for how
exactly.
big and lengthy he is. So it
100%.
looked awkward. I am right there with you on that.
That's such a
So-
great point because you can see it in the way that he executes everything.
Yes.
He has to jump earlier than other wrestlers do in order to
They're
execute
not there yet. Right.
Right.
his moves because
Right.
he can jump so high and far. And he's
Yeah.
he's just such a physical specimen.
Like when I kept looking at how massive his hands were, like just a massive, like Gary Stearns
like-
He's
type
always
hands.
holding them up like this, and it's like, dude, it's like almost like
Huge.
Kawhi Leonard like hands.
Yes. I mean, and okay, I was dying at GI Bro because I did
GI
not
Bro,
know
great.
he was GI Bro.
Yeah.
Before, but like in his young days like that, I mean, this guy looks like he could have walked on a football field and
Yeah.
started at tight end. Just mammoth human being. And his backstory is
I
super
told you
tragic.
guys.
I mean,
I told you last week.
living on his own with his sister at 13 in a house with no electricity, no water, had 7 older siblings,
Yeah, after
none of which took him in for a while until
after the
they got
mom dies
booted
in
from
a
the house.
freak accident.
Yes.
Even when they did, they're taking them in. They're all like selling drugs. He said, and
Right.
stuff. So they're just doing what they have to.
Also loved how he's from South Park, Texas.
Yep.
Did not know there's such thing as South Park, Texas.
Yeah.
But I will say, after the first 20 minutes, the tone of the doc changed. For as tragic as his backstory was, it was a pretty positive.
It was a success
tone to
story.
it. Yes, it was a success
Definitely.
story. Much different than Macho Man's, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And a clear case of go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we kind of talked about how different each one has been so far, and I thought even the directorial styles of the first 4, I guess, have all been different. But even the tone of this one, Jim, like you just said, the Roddy Piper, generally a pretty sad one.
Yes.
In the scheme of things, the Macho Man also pretty sad. Stone Cold wasn't too bad or anything like
No.
that. He didn't really have any sad moments in his life.
Right.
I mean, compared to the other ones. So this one, it was kind of refreshing to start off with the bad stuff and then kind of see the success story build from there and
Correct.
how he made it through that stuff rather than crumble beneath it.
Yeah.
You know what?
One of my favorite parts, I think, was when I never knew he broke Stone Cold's back or
Yeah.
broke, 3 vertebrae or whatever in his back. And that the WWE was like, the guys were pissed at him. Like, hey, you just came in here, you took out our number 1 guy,
Literally.
and he still persevered through hard work, and everyone loved him. It's like seemingly everyone seemed to just love this guy.
So
because of his work ethic.
I'll see that, Jimmy, and I'll raise you what they talked about right before that. Do you remember what they said? Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, all
Oh
the other
yes, sat out,
guys.
yes, and collected their
I'm gonna
money.
stay home and collect
Yep.
my money. Booker T's like, fuck this, I'm gonna work.
Yep.
I want to work. I don't want
You'd
to
love it too.
lose my
He
spot.
literally just got to the
Yeah.
pinnacle of the WCW, and then all of a sudden they get bought out. So yeah, he's like, I naturally in his mind, I was at the top of this promotion. I should be fighting for the
Right.
top of this promotion. now.
which
They
is why
bought
he
him.
got so much heat for what happened. Like,
Right.
and Austin said it great. He's like, yeah, I was pissed off at first. He's like, but when I watched it back, like he did everything right.
Right.
It was a freak accident. I was sweating. Like there's nothing we could have done about it. What
Right.
what are we gonna do? So yeah, I just think overall, like this documentary definitely, put him into a new perspective in terms of like appreciation for him.
Same.
Like the
I'm
idea
with
of, they didn't talk about any, like he wasn't a pill popper. He didn't, he wasn't one of those guys that would go out and party and drink. I mean,
Right.
they might have like kind of, shied away from it a little bit, but compared to
He
some
didn't
of the
have
other
he
guys,
didn't
Not what
have
he's known
Ric
for.
Flair and Scott Hall stories.
no, he
Well,
wasn't.
and like it was a really good like life turnaround story too. I think someone mentioned it like this is a true success story because he was, in the prison system and he decided that he didn't want to live that life anymore. And I like
Right.
one part they talked about how he had gotten a job as a security guard right out of prison. And then they found out about his background, so they had to fire him. But the guy who owned the place like had gotten to know him and knew that he was like a high character person.
Yeah.
So he gave him another job. And then that guy was the one who paid for him to go to the wrestling school, which eventually is which got
Awesome.
him. It's just a
Yeah,
really,
it's
I thought it
pretty
was
cool.
cool that they included that and they interviewed that guy.
Mhm.
And that guy was so humble about it too. He basically was just saying, if I can help you and I'm in a position to do it, I should do that. And, he was really passionate about this. So I gave him, he basically springboarded this guy to the rest of his life.
Right.
It was really cool. And is still to this day, Booker T brought him up and is very appreciative. My biggest takeaway was how good of a person Booker T is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just outside of the ring. We talked about Macho Man last week where he really couldn't separate the persona from the person. Booker T, they were clearly separated. He loved doing it though. It's so much a part of who he is, but it's not all of who he is. And
Yeah.
he found a way to channel it with his wrestling school that he has now and still being involved and trying to mentor people that are in the WWE and pass that knowledge along. It was really cool to see how much he just loves wrestling. And
Right.
it was like, he knows it saved his life. And I wanted to bring up, we talked about this a little bit before, but the last two episodes now, they've talked about these wrestling schools that they've had. And I never remember seeing a commercial for a wrestling school growing up because I for sure would have wanted to.
Would have gone to one.
But we're a little bit past our prime to try and become wrestlers, but I would love to try and take like one class for one of these wrestling classes and just get in the ring and just put it out there and see what could have been.
What was that? What was that reality show that they did for a couple of years?
Tough enough.
What was it? Tough Enough? Yeah. I mean, I remember watching some of those and like they put those guys through hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much to the point where I think two of them, I know Bill DeMott, he was Hugh Morris in WCW. He, I think, got fired because he was like a real like bully. And then I think Billy Gunn was kind of a dick on the show too. And I think they like fired him from that too because he was, mean to the people and they couldn't handle it. But yeah, no, me and my neighbor, again, same thing. We had this conversation yesterday. Like, I just want to run the ropes. I just want to, give me like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to last 5 minutes because I'm disgustingly out of shape, but yeah, I just want to,
You basically just need to find a place that will let us use the ring.
the ring. That's it.
We could plan out a tag team match against each other.
Yes.
Coordinate all to keep ourselves.
Hold on.
Safe.
And all I can think about right now is the episode of Always Sunny when they're doing the dance. Like in our heads, we're having this fucking
Exactly.
badass match, and everyone else is watching. Like, what?
Like,
we're
It's
just like
just a shit show.
dying,
Yeah.
can't breathe, can't run the ropes. Oh god, that's great.
I would love it. It would be great.
Find the ring. Let's go.
right.
Get a ring. We'll
Pat,
have it in my backyard.
Do you
We'll put all of them
remember
together.
this has had to have been like 15, 20 years ago when we were, no, longer than that, like 20, 25 years ago. My mom's cousin Danny has a taekwondo gym and we went there and he had like a boxing ring, but Pat and I did not see it as a boxing ring. This was a holy shit, let's go climb the turnbuckle and go beat the shit out of each other in this ring.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. Does he still own a gym?
No, he lives in
I'm putting
Arizona
a
now.
call. Ah, does he own a gym in Arizona?
They just moved like 3 weeks ago, so I'm gonna guess.
Does he have the gym open yet?
Right.
I don't
Is the gym is the ring in the new Arizona house.
Please.
God.
We'll
I
figure
wonder
it.
how much a wrestling ring is. Let me check that out.
Probably expensive.
All right, over under 12K. What do we think?
Over.
Over.
Well, I mean, Depends on what type of wrestling ring you're talking about. I think we made a ring on
Yeah,
a
say we can
trampoline.
put one together for less than that, but I don't know.
We
how
have
long
made
it's
a ring
all about.
also.
I wanted to mention one. I have a sound clip. One particular part of the documentary where they were talking about a specific move, and in my opinion, this is again because I left this feeling high respect for Booker T. I would consider this a weak spot in the armor in Booker T's legacy as a wrestler.
But I learned the power of entertainment that night. I did the Spin-A-Rooney in that match.
He did some type of hop, skip, spin type thing I never saw before. Did you see that? What was that? They used to have them breakdance moves. He did some spin.
Same guy that was calling me the N-word, he was totally excited when he saw the Spin-A-Rooney, and it totally changed him all in one breath. And it was like, whoa, what was that? Because when I did the Spin-A-Rooney, I realized how much power the Spin-A-Rooney had. Break dance on the patio. That's why I learned to Spin-A-Rooney at. That's where the Spin-A-Rooney came from. Yeah.
That's where they learned to spin. So that Spin-A-Rooney came from a pop lock dance move.
If you say Spin-A-Rooney, they know who you're talking about.
How much better would Booker T's legacy be if it was called the Spin Cycle?
It just needed a different name.
anything else.
Or the
Anything other than that.
Spin-A-Rama or
Right.
something
Exactly.
different than
You
the
know what?
Spin-A-Rooney.
Okay, this is all I could think about when I heard this. This is what these vibes are. Local community volunteer working at like the YMCA in the inner city where it's a bunch of black kids and they're breakdancing, and he just walks up to them and goes, "Oh wow, what's those little Spin-A-Roonies you're doing there?" That's where it sounds like that name came from. And it's just another hilarious example of things being overlooked with wrestling creative.
Is
Okay,
there
you guys ready for this? 16-foot wrestling ring deluxe package. Ready? $6,000 only.
$6,000?
I think are you
Sure
on
to
high
go
are you
for-
on high spots? Are you on highspots.com, Jimmy?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All the different things you can customize.
It's yeah, guys.
incredible.
We could
Dude,
have
let's start a GoFundMe. Try and get
we could
people-
have the Wet Bandits wrestling league. If
Seriously.
you want to.
I
The
mean,
first thing I thought, I'm like thinking the Wet Bandits colors, turnbuckles, all of it. Come on.
$6,000 is not bad.
Be
That's
incredible.
funny.
if you want to fund our wrestling ring, stay tuned.
Yes.
Our GoFundMe page. It'll be
Think
starting.
about it. Think about it. No, what you need to do though is when you're doing your final edit, you need to do a number counter. I don't know if you can, to how many times Spin-A-Rooney is said in that clip.
Oh,
Because I
can
think they
definitely
say
do
it at least 30 times.
And right there, okay, so I obviously cut those, so they were one right after another, but it was said all those times within a 5-minute span.
Yeah.
And I just cut
Oh.
the in-betweens.
Yeah,
It just kept saying Spin-A-Rooney. I was laughing out loud. I couldn't stop. Melissa's like, why is it called that? It's like, I don't know. That's what they came up with. The
like, listen,
Spin-A-Rooney,
Alyssa, it's
been
called the
around-
Spin-A-Rooney, the same reason why they only wear the underwear.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Question I can't. These are unanswerable questions. Ask Booker T. So yeah, this was again though. Just I felt this one left you feeling really good, uplifting, positive.
Yes.
Made you go out and think you can do anything. Made me regret not finding one of those wrestling videos when I was younger or wrestling classes.
Yeah, where were the wrestling schools around here?
Right? They had Michael Jordan does a basketball camp at Elmhurst College, but there's no wrestling
It's
camp
bullshit.
anywhere.
Right.
It might not be a hub. Like it might not be a well-known area around here. You might have to go like up north. I know Minnesota is a big hub. A lot of the Canadian provinces. But yeah, no, Illinois might not be a hub. They're
Well, it's
more
time.
of a regular, real wrestling.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Oh, and
See what I did there?
I love this was a really good example too of how wrestling really is just like so character driven because
Yes.
he had the Harlem Heat, or first they were the Ebony Experience with him and his brother. And then
first off, I had no idea that it was actually his brother in real life.
I didn't
Really?
either.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
I was,
Same.
and that's one of the. I thought it was like an Edge and Christian situation. Like they were
Right.
really good friends.
Kane and
growing up.
Undertaker.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were actually.
Booker
I
T,
didn't know that they were
Stevie
actually
Ray. I
good.
remember them. The Harlem Heat. That entrance music that I played on the lead-in. Great entrance music. Glad that
Last night I dreamt that I stole Kane's mask and he was chasing me around trying to get it back, and I was horrified.
terrifying.
In my dream. It was terrifying.
Be chasing you around in his suit.
Yeah, he was.
Aaron.
He was.
But
Oh man.
but I just thought it was funny that he talked about how they were the Harlem Heat and people would come up to them like relating to him from being from Harlem, and he's from South Park, Texas. I don't know why they didn't just do the Houston Heat, since that's pretty close.
That's what they were saying. There was like a whole segment there that they said Houston Heat. They didn't like it for whatever reason. Yeah, and then they're like, it wasn't.
I was watching it last night and I fell asleep for like 10 minutes and I couldn't tell if I was dreaming that or not. So
yeah, they said it said something along the lines of like it's not as like you know what I mean, like Houston, like they're not the brothers from Houston. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They wanted it to be more, you know,
got it. So
more urban.
But and then just kind of seeing too how he never really set out to be a singles wrestler and never really had plans for it. It just kind of evolved into
they were the Harlem Heat for 9 years.
Because he
That's
was
a pretty long time to be committed to a tag team partner.
Yeah,
that's true. So being as this episode focused heavily on the tag team element, this week's edition of Tone's Top 5 is going to feature his top 5 tag teams of all time. So go ahead and take it away, buddy.
Yeah. So a couple things that I looked at when doing this list was, and it's tough because there's a lot of tag teams, like you said, that have like they stand that test of time, that don't break up right away, or they're such a huge tag team, and then as singles wrestlers, maybe not so much. A couple of these I feel like fit that mold. I started out number 5 with the Freebirds, and that's like a real old school tag team that is on like everybody's list. So I would feel bad not throwing them in there. The Freebirds were it was like Michael Hayes, a couple other guys, and they were like the first tag team that there was 3 guys in the group. But when they won the titles, they had like the Freebird rule where me and Pat are gonna defend the titles tonight, and then next week, you know, Jimmy and Pat are gonna defend the titles, and they had that Freebird rule that the New Day follows now, or when they were a 3-way. Number 4, the Hardy Boys, and this one was tough because I'm not a huge. I know you guys probably love the Hardy Boys. I was never really a big Hardy Boy fan. Their outfits irritated me, and
I hated their outfits.
But I know that
their in-ring action.
Yeah, I know that they're
those like fishnet shirts and the choker collars. They looked like every 14-year-old
just Spencers. They looked like I was walking into a Spencer or a Hot Topic, you know, and not good. Number 3, I put, and again, like I probably never would have put Harlem Heat on my list like pre this documentary, but I think just the respect that you gain from these guys, you know, from the stock for sure, like the longevity that they had, their finishing move, the Harlem Hangover.
Yeah, Harlem Hangover.
I think so. Yeah, 9 or 11, something like that. But the Harlem Hangover is probably one of my favorite tag team finishing moves. I thought that was badass. Number 2 is the Dudley Boys. And again, I think 3D is probably the best of the tag team finishers.
3D Mike into
we 3D Mike everywhere. Any chance we got, we'd yell 3D. He'd like, no, when we'd pick him up and just any chance we got. Pool, couches,
it's such a solid
anywhere. 3D.
And then obviously I feel like everyone's number 1 has to be the Legion of Doom. I just think from an overall standpoint, like they are the epitome of, hey, we're going to be a tag team. We're going to be known as a tag team. We're never really going to have a singles push, but we're okay with that because we're on top of the world as a tag team right now. So I think, and obviously doomsday devices.
That was our other favorite move to do to Mike. The
yeah.
doomsday
Well,
device.
that one is like a serious, like you could kill someone that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we pretty much kept that one to the pool and the snow. So I'd get Mike on my shoulders, and Pat would jump off of my aunt's deck and close on him off my shoulders, or he'd go on my shoulders and he'd jump off my dad's car and we'd close on him in the snow. But Mike was always getting Doomsday 3D. He'd get the Razor's Edge a lot too.
Yeah. Razor's Edge is a good one until my shoulder just would pop out even thinking about it.
You have some pretty good finishing moves on your brother in a pool, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, sure. Just a nice little vertical suplex.
There are some videos out there.
There's some good ones there.
Yeah, there are some good ones.
Good list. I for sure thought you were going to go with the Brotherhood at number 1. I thought that's where you were going with that one, but the Brotherhood from Tape. I mean, we just talked about how we used to doomsday device Mike into the pool and 3D him all over the place. Yes. We had, while the only recorded match that we have was against each other, we really have done some great work as a tag team in pools near couches, sofas, beds, air mattresses,
a lot of air mattresses.
Basically anything with a soft enough landing to set up a tag team move Jimmy and I have executed. So,
and not kill our youngest brother.
I mentioned and I show this VHS tape, and for some of our younger listeners, you might not even know what this is, but
Alex was so funny when he was helping Pat and I go through the tapes. He's like,
why am I doing
what
this?
Is this? What are these?
Okay, so and watch this. Yeah. In here, there's a smaller tape, and on this smaller tape is a recording of a match between the Brotherhood.
Pat, can you open that thing up again? Does it open up really fast?
No, it goes really slow, and now it's not.
It has like a thing. Yeah. It has like it opens up like real slow.
Yeah,
it has like a little mechanism.
I was like, I kept trying to get you down. I'm gonna put this. I don't want to break it, so I'm gonna put it off the side.
You might have to open it. You might have to press the button and then close it.
Yeah. So
when we told Alex that you used to have to rewind VHS tapes, he didn't. He had no idea. We're like, what do you mean rewind?
Right. So we're gonna digitalize this tape. There's a place that I'm gonna bring it to in Naperville that I found, where I can bring it in there, and they will turn this into a DVD, or I'm gonna try and get them to turn it into like an MP4 file, so I can then cut a promo. And who knows? Maybe we'll have
and then have Anthony and Andy do
commentary.
Commentary is pretty good.
Although
by JR,
commentary,
the original JR, maybe that's what we should be calling him. It was pretty good. The what is it? The WWF big event at the Rosemont Horizon.
The Rosemont Horizon.
So that will be to come here in the future. And
I gave Pat the Predator on the downstairs couch.
Predator. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Is that your finishing move?
No, my finishing move was the Pedigree, but it was dubbed the Predator.
Oh my god.
So yeah, top-notch commentating, good stuff to come from Bros Let's Talk, as we're now basically a wrestling podcast at this point.
Yep.
Feels like it. Feels good though. I'm thoroughly enjoying watching this series. So
yeah,
we're gonna have a brief break this next week. Jimmy and I are going to be at intern Mike's graduation at Augustana next week.
Plan is for when he walks across the stage, we 3D him after he gets his diploma. We're still trying to figure out how we're going to make that happen.
Yeah.
You should try and smuggle in that fathead that you got for his football games.
Can you imagine trying to sneak in with that thing? That would be
they might let you.
You know what? We'll be smart. Let's drive up there early, bury it, and then when we get in, we'll unbury it like at Lala.
Definitely.
Totally. Yeah, we'll get there and we'll bury it. I like that.
Simple solution. Bury it on a turf football field. What could go wrong?
We will have an episode coming out, but it will just be about some other stuff. And then we will return the following week talking about, I believe Shawn Michaels is the next episode, the Heartbreak Kid.
Yup.
Excited about that one. So that should be good.
Definitely.
They've all been great. So now I'm just expecting greatness across the board.
They really have been great. Like very, very well done. Very thorough. If you haven't started watching yet, do yourself a favor and start watching because they're damn good.
Even if you had like any sort of Like I watched wrestling like a little bit as a kid. Like, yeah, just
Right,
throw them
watch,
on. 'Cause
yes.
they're the nostalgia.
It pulls the
factor.
nostalgic feels for
Oh,
sure.
big
It-
time.
yeah.
So I also wanted to comment how much better, or maybe just in my opinion, I think the names of the WCW pay-per-view events were better than WWF's. Bash at the Beach, Halloween Havoc. Like those brought back memories of like, oh my God, I forgot about all these. I will say Judgment Day we're kind of partial to because we were there. But the WCW names were
Yeah,
I was pretty happy with
think of
I
all of
more
them.
favored WWF, but I always felt
Backlash,
Agreed.
SummerSlam,
they're just knockoffs of WWF. Like
Royal
SummerSlam,
Rumble.
Bash at the Beach,
Survivor Series.
So I don't know. I'd have to look them up more. But Halloween Havoc was always kind of a cool name.
Yeah, I love that.
Well,
let's see.
and then they had like all the In Your House pay-per-view. So it was like In Your
Yes.
House was like the middle pay-per-view. In Your House, Bad Blood. In Your House,
Yeah.
Over the Edge, which we won't really talk about that one.
But real quick then, before okay, if you had to choose one, WCW NWO Revenge or WWF No
Ooh.
Mercy.
No Mercy for me.
For N64.
Yeah.
Tell you what, boys, I was never an N64 guy.
Oh,
Super
wow.
Nintendo, and then we went straight to PlayStation 1.
wow.
Okay.
And
Bougie
not
ass
on
family
the
over here.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna go
Rick
No
Wrestling
Mercy as well.
See, obviously because of the roster, I loved No Mercy and WrestleMania, but I feel like WCW NWO Revenge was the first good wrestling game.
I will agree with that. My neighbor,
Like-
my neighbor did have. I will 100% agree with that.
I remember that was the first game you could reach into the crowd and you can grab. You'd like pull out
Yeah.
random items out of the crowd and you could like beat people with a bat or like a shovel or whatever you would.
Do you remember how to do the finishers?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you hold A and then flick the stick.
Hold on, though. Wasn't it like almost like a Shoryuken move where you would have to go down and then forward and then B? I think there was something.
So,
I think you had to do like a. It was like a.
are you talking
grapple.
WCW?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Even
talking No Mercy was like you had to do a strong grapple, which was hold A,
Hold it, yeah.
and then you flick the stick once you had your meter full.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the meter was full and yeah, okay.
I think the WCW one, I for some reason remember like you having to do like a down forward or down something maneuver.
Jim, do you remember on WWF No Mercy, we created Kane's twin brother Abel and he wore
do.
all blue?
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Long. Dude, we did some weird shit.
We did some weird shit. Do you
Can you
guys
imagine-
also remember when I remembered Halloween Havoc and Bash at the Beach and said WCW had better pay-per-views and I couldn't think of any other ones, so I looked them up and they were not better than WWF's names at all.
Let's hear them.
Slammiversary?
Not at all.
Slammiversary, one of them?
They had Sold Out, SOULED.
Yeah.
They had the Starcade.
I remember the Starcade.
They had the Super
Like the
Brawl.
WrestleMania thing, right? There's
And they had the
Starcade.
Great American Bash. So
Didn't you say Great American Bash?
no, I said Bash at the Beach.
Oh, Bash at the
and
Beach.
Halloween
Well, the Great
Havoc.
American Bash is like the big one because that was like Dusty Rhodes. I think they stole that from like NWA back in the day.
They had World War III. I was like
That
totally
was
caught up in the
World War
moment.
III was the stupid one with the three
I fucked up
cages.
real hard.
forgot to mention too the little tidbit that got shown towards the end of the Booker T. How about when we're getting American Badass Phase Undertaker getting bullied by an entire arena to do this?
Oh my god, that was great.
that was hilarious.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know that happened.
I didn't know that
Yeah.
happened either.
It's like, oh, Undertaker can go from the dead man to Hick, but he's too proud to do a Spin-A-Rooney in the middle of the ring.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Come on.
he wasn't about that life. That was when he was still protecting the business a little bit.
Yeah.
He told him, he said, "I'll fucking kill you." He's like,
Yeah,
I'm
that was
not doing it. I'll fucking kill you."
So looking back, Survivor Series is better than any name in WCW. That's probably the
100%.
lowest
I
on
think
the WWF.
I'm not gonna lie. I think as soon as you made that comment, I think our silence
One of the quicker
and
redactions I remember.
Our-
At least one that we have on file.
but I think our faces and our silence, I think was the answer
yeah,
to
Jim,
that.
you were on an island there. For sure.
What is that? What is
Well,
it? What's that?
I tried
what's
to be
that
nice. I was
term?
like, yeah, Bash at the Beach is kind of cool.
I
What's
think they
that?
had
Not
What's,
really that cool.
Glamboree.
what's that term where like, Thirsty Thursday or what is that? There's a term for that they
Alliteration?
sound. Yes, alliteration. Thank you. So Bash at the Beach and Halloween Havoc's alliteration really had me in my feels, and I prematurely commented.
But then
because there were two, and then the rest sucked.
But I mean, if you're going to talk about alliteration, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
True, you're right. But those are, they sound better than Bash at the Beach and
Judgment
Halloween Havoc.
Oh, it's classic.
And that's it.
I love
That's
it.
all I got.
I
So
love it.
Maybe that's the thing. You add those third and fourth syllables into the names, and you start getting weird shit. Like
yep.
World War.
Yeah.
III. I remember watching World War III actually at John Marshalek's house.
I do too. That's so funny you say that. I do too.
That's when Goldberg was
Dang.
still in his undefeated streak.
Didn't he
All
lose
I
because he
could
got
really do is
tasered,
tackle
right?
people. Yeah.
Is that
who
where he
did it?
lost?
It was
Cattle prod.
God, that
And
was
we were like,
that was what
we
time
were
to be alive. They showed Scott Steiner yesterday. I hadn't thought about Big Papa Pump in the
oh my gosh.
talk about the most
Those words.
roided out dude.
Pat, do you remember when we go to Sam Reed's house to watch and we drink Nesbitt's honey lemonade all the time?
I don't remember the Nesbitt.
God, that's like the most
lemonade
specific.
part, but I
That is
remember
the
going to
most
Sam Reed's.
specific memory. I think.
So weird.
man.
I remember going to Sam Reed's and wrestling on his trampoline though. That was like
Yeah.
our first intro into
That was great.
probably what led to the Brotherhood and then the breakup of the Brotherhood, which will be explored
After one
in our
day.
documentary series, maybe. We'll
So
see.
sad.
See how ambitious I get, but okay, that's all we've got for
Pat,
this.
you have to remember this. Nesbitt's honey lemonade.
That's
you're all about that. Is
Looks
That-
good.
There's nothing.
it's
I've
wrong
never-
about it.
delicious.
I've
Order
never
a 12
seen
Here we
it
go,
pack.
Pat,
before
here.
in my life.
Here's the
Order
can.
a 12 pack.
Okay, I do remember that.
Say thank you.
That's
That's
stuff is-
straight. Yeah, there's some Mandela effect situation going on with that. 'cause
That's real though.
nobody
I remember
would-
those
It's,
cans.
it's real. Yep.
I've
I knew
never
Order a
seen
12
that.
pack for the barbecue.
you got it. It's done. I'm ordering it right now.
Oh my
We're
god.
literally like the barbecue is just going to be all sorts of like different nostalgic memories that we're
I like that. I'll bring some
put
syrup.
together. Blue
I'll bring
can,
I'll bring
Yes.
Mondo.
Ooh.
Bring it
Those
on
will get some
64.
Dunkaroos.
Bring it on 64.
On 64.
Oh,
I'll
he's
bring
got
the
one,
super-
doesn't he?
I do got one.
Bring it.
Oh,
It's gonna be
can
like
we get our
summer camp
hands?
all over.
Can we get our hands on WWF No Mercy?
I have no mercy.
Oh,
Angie.
I might be able to get WCW versus NWO.
yeah. I just remember that because Hollywood Hogan was on the cover of that. It was him and Sting, I think,
Mm-hmm.
facing off.
Yep.
Gosh, what a
Yeah.
great time in my life.
It really was.
All I had to do was drink Nesbitt's honey lemonade and play
Nobody drank that.
wrestling games that I didn't remember
We-
existed until this very moment.
we drink that.
We did.
Nobody.
We used to drink them like stone cold.
Sure did.
You know what's funny too, Jimmy, is if
So
we order
sticky.
those,
So sticky.
they're probably just like the regular lemonade that we drink, country lemonade or whatever.
For sure. Yeah.
Probably just the same thing, but because
Probably.
it was Nesbitt's and came in that can,
Here's a related
that's an
question.
impact on Jimmy.
Here's a related question. Is it possible to drink a brisk iced tea in anything less or anything more than just chugging it
No,
all immediately?
no, just instant chug of the can every time.
And
That's what I
not
used to do.
saying that's brisk, baby,
Yeah,
after
right.
every time. No,
Yeah, we need
that's
to
really
get-
possible.
That's brisk, baby. We need to get White Claw Gabe to reenact that.
Fuck.
Fuck, that's brisk.
Tone,
baby.
I am with you.
It's
I have
impossible.
never consumed a beverage that goes down quicker or smoother than a brisk.
Impossible. But it
Ever.
also burns a little bit.
Ever.
though.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
al-
yeah.
it's also
Get
hot.
that
Yeah.
afterburn, but you
Yeah,
can't
that-
not
yes.
chug it. It's because I think it's because reflexively, or at least when we're younger, now we're older, it's more so beer. But reflexively, when you're younger and you drink out of a can, it's usually pop. So you're
Yes.
expecting that carbonation, but when you start chugging, it's just not there.
Yeah.
So you're
Mhm.
just,
So
Honestly,
smooth.
Yeah.
go ahead, bring a 12 pack of that too. and
Andy,
we'll
do you
see if
remember?
we can possibly drink it without just chugging the entire
All
thing.
right. I like it.
Andy, do you remember we were like 11 or 12 years old? We bought a pack of Pepsi Blue when it first came out, and we were just walking around Uptown Elmhurst chugging cans of Pepsi Blue.
I remember that.
Literally, I chugged a full can, and then my stomach felt like it was going to explode because of all the carbonation.
Playing with
Recently,
Bob
Bree
Bags
came
from
out with
Bob's
Pepsi
Magic
Blue,
Shop.
so maybe we can bring some of that to the
All
party.
right, so I have on the grocery list, I have Nesbitt's Honey Lemonade, Brisk Baby. I have Blue Lemonade, N64, and Blue Cane,
Oh,
created character.
Blue
Okay.
So,
Andy,
and Royal, And and Hulk Hogan's
Oh yeah, Hulk
card game.
Hogan's wrestling.
Did you guys see Hulk's shirt this time?
Yeah, I
I
watched
would-
it last time. It's
No,
that-
I know, but I forget who said they didn't see
I
it.
didn't see it.
Okay, did you see it this time?
I noticed it.
So I've been trying to find that shirt, and I
Probably custom made for the Hulkster.
Probably.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm over Hulk Hogan. I think I'm done. I think I just
Yeah,
don't.
I could see that. I just like the shirt.
yeah, I just like the shirt and
Did
the
you watch
whole.
Thunder in Paradise and lift your spirits on Hulk?
No. You should get a Stone
That's
Cold
the problem.
shirt that's half Stone Cold Steve Austin, half Chili.
Chili McFreeze. I love that idea. That's phenomenal.
I couldn't even get it out.
It's good. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate all our listeners out there. If you don't already, follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Bros Let's Talk. Subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get updates when we go live. You can find our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found, and it lives at anchor.fm/Bros Let's Talk. And our website is brosletstalk.com. For Jimmy, Andy, Anthony, this is Pat. Later, dids.
See ya.